The young Carolee Notch was born October 11, 1953, and went to school in Golden and Wheat Ridge, Colorado, before deciding to move to a small room on the second floor of the Muat mansion, known today as the Valentine Suite. She shared her room with another girl for about $48 a month. It was rumored that they both enjoyed having visitors over quite often, who were mostly men. Marianne Weaver, friends with Carolee, lived with her parents in Lakewood, Colorado, and would often visit her friend at her apartment on 2555 West 37th Avenue in Denver. The night of October 12th, Marianne decided to pay a visit to her friend Carolee, but this would be the last time they would ever see each other again. Late at night on October 12th, a friend of Carolee was driving by her apartment when he noticed the light in her room was off, which was unusual. He decided to stop and make sure that everything was all right, so he went upstairs, only to stumble upon the bone-chilling scene. Both the girls had been brutally murdered. The next morning, October 13, 1970, the Denver Post published the story on their front page. It said that their friend John Lechuga had found the teenagers' bodies at 2:45 in the morning, and that when he walked into the room, he found Carolee strangled and Marianne with a gunshot wound to her head. The Denver police found so many fingerprints in the crime scene that they were unable to identify a person guilty of this double homicide. Time went by and the case closed without ever naming a suspect. In 2016, the mansion had changed names to the Lumber Baron Inn, a bed and breakfast that fell into the hands of Elaine and Joel Bryant, who bought the property for $1.7 million after it was on the market for 2 years.
I really feel that the house picked us, and how far out that was laid out, I don't know. I just feel like that this house picked us to be its next caretakers.
But before making the decision to move forward with the purchase of the home, Elaine told her husband she needed some sort of sign, and she got just that. One day, while visiting the mansion's library, she came upon a book. When she read the title, she realized it was a book her father had written about law. That's all the sign she needed. Elaine and Joel took on the adventure of remodeling the mansion and continued with the tradition of a bed and breakfast, which they had heard was haunted by the spirits of the two girls who tragically lost their lives there years prior.
But when I learned of the girls being murdered here, I decided I wanted to really honor them and make sure that they felt welcome and honored here. After all, this is more their house really than my house. They've been here longer than I have. So I bring flowers to the girls. I always have fresh flowers in the room for the girls.
Elaine has an enormous respect for the spirits of Carolee and Marianne, who she calls the girls.
When I come in the mornings, I will come in the door and I will say good morning to the girls. I'll say good morning, girls. And if we have guests, I'll say good morning, girls, a little more quietly.
Her husband, Joel Bryant, has lived 30 years in the neighborhood. He has always been a skeptic, but several times the house has seemed to try to communicate with him.
Last week, we didn't have any guests in the hotel, and I came in early. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning. I walked in the front door and closed the front door and stood in the foyer, and I was just looking, and it sounded like a bunch of whispers at the same time, like 50 people just whispering, and I couldn't hear anything that they said, but it was pretty clear, and I was standing completely still, but it's an old house and it creaks and you never really know what it is that you hear.
The same day they purchased the Lumber Baron Inn, they received an unexpected call from a renowned medium, Chris Moon, who had already been in the house and now would come back to try and communicate once again with the girls.
We went up to the Valentine Suite, which is the room where the girls were murdered in 1970, and I was standing next to the door, Chris was standing next to me, and my wife was standing across the room. And Chris started talking to the girls and just saying, hey, I'm back. Girls, are you there? It's Chris. And I felt a wave of coldness come through me. And right when that happened, Chris said, "The girls are with us." And Chris started to get a little dizzy.
Both the couple and the paranormal investigator have a common goal: to resolve once and for all this crime.